On this episode, New Japan Pro Wrestling continues with more Road to Tokyo Dome with Day 2, with features, as you know, we got build-up stories leading up to the start of the year of Wrestle Kingdom, and also AEW Dynamite goes with Night 1 of Holiday Bash that features the semifinals of the TBS Championship Tournament. Who will walk out as the victor to go to the finals? Will it be the Native Beast Nyla Rose or the Runaway Ruby Soho? And also we will have Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy and the team up with CM Punk, Darby Allin, and Sting to take on the Pinnacle, MJF, and FTR. We also go to review a past event by British Pro Wrestling promotion known as RevPro with unfinished business that take place after the event when Will Ospreay revealed his newest addition to the United Empire, Aussie Open, and also shocking the rest of the world. So, let's get started with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, I believe it's time to go with day 2 of New Japan Pro Wrestling Road to Tokyo Dome. As you know, we're getting closer and closer to the start of the year for 3 days of Wrestle Kingdom. So we have a lot to discuss on this particular day. So let's go with the first match. We have on one side we have a 6-man tag team match. We have team number 1, the pair of young lions, Koze Fujita, Rohi Oiwa, and Yuto Nakashima taking on Bullet Club members Yato, Chase Owens, and Balak Fale. Now, in this particular match, we know that the Young Lions are tough as nails, but however, they are limited to what they do, but because they are still on the learning curves. But however, when it comes to Bullet Club, you know for a fact that they're going to lose just like that. But I don't need to give you the details because you may know the story too many times on that. Next up, we got Suzuki-gun, consistent of Doiki, Minoru Suzuki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru taking on Satoshi Kojima, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Toru Yano. Now, this particular match built up a fantastic match. As you know, Toru Yano is the current KOPW Provisional Trophy winner. He will be challenged by none other than Kanemaru. As you know, Kanemaru gave him the low blow, but he was the one who picked up the victory in this particular match when he pinned Tenzan and allowing himself to challenge for the trophy. So that's going to be taking place at Wrestle Kingdom. Next up, once again, we got the House of Torture with Dick Togo now in the mix. Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil taking on GHB's Humna, Makabe, and Chaos with Yo and Ishii. Now, in this particular match, we know that Evil will do whatever it takes to obtain what he believes will take. I believe he has a sight set on the Never Openweight Championship. But as for Sho, will do anything to destroy Yo, to force him to retire, telling him, "You don't belong here in this ring. Just retire. Just do it." But Yo is not going to do that. However, this particular match ended in the fall of the House of Torture, giving them the chance to win. Next up, we got, of course, Master Wato teaming up with Chaos, the winners of the World Tag League, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto, to take on Suzuki-guns consistent of Taka Michinoku, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi. Now, in this particular match, we know who's the weakest link so far. who hasn't been putting up his own weight in this match, and that is Taka Yoshihashi, and Goto took advantage of that. So, but if I was the tag champions, I would be a little worried knowing you're teaming up with the guy who's been losing, who also he and the boss lost World Tag League. But it tells a good story. But should Dangerous Tekker be worried? Well, they should, but they should not. They would figure out a way to ensure they win the match. Next up, we got the United Empire, consisting of Great Khan, Aaron Hanara, and Jeff Cobb taking on LIJ's Bushi, Sonata, and Naito. As you know, Cobb has issues with Naito. He keeps telling him, tranquilo. But apparently, tranquilo is not his strong suit. But however, it was, what was it? It was Bushi who was the weakest link that caused them to lose the match in a way for United Empire to win it, and it was Great Khan who pulled it off. So basically, this is going to be a direct message to Naito. Next up, we got Ryusuke Taguchi teaming up with the G1 Climax winner Okada taking on LIJ's Hiromu and Shingo Takagi. But in this particular match, Shingo Takagi decided to put on the last dragon to Ryusuke Taguchi to allow them to win the match. So this is sending a clear message to Okada saying, you're not walking out of here with my title. So that's something that we can agree upon. Next up, we have for our main event, Bullet Club consistent of El Fantasmo Taiji Shimuri along with the IWGP United States Champion Kenta taking on a Tiger Mask, Robbie Eagles, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, in this particular match, you know for a fact Kenta will do everything as possible to win the match, but that's exactly what he did. He won the match, but in post match he decided to try to injure Tanahashi so he wouldn't have to wrestle him at Wrestle Kingdom. But Tanahashi will not give up that easily, but we'll see when we get there. So I have to say this show was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what's going to happen in day 3. So stand by for that. But right now, I think it's time to move on with AEW Dynamite New Holidays Bash. Alrighty then, so we are now in night 1 of AEW's Dynamite's Holiday Bash. It opened up with Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy. As you know, Adam Cole has been on a hunt on the latest top stars that are rising up in AEW. His latest victim was now Orange Cassidy. I have to say the match was pretty good. You know, people can say to Adam Cole, hey Adam, do not underestimate Orange Cassidy. But however, it looks like he had other plans. The Young Bucks show up to try to give him a helping hand, but luckily, best friends show up to give a helping hand. But when Orange Cassidy seemed like he had everything under control, Bobby Fish interfered, tried to get involved with the referee. But the biggest shocking surprise, and there were rumors in circulating that he will show up in AEW. I'm talking about Kyle O'Reilly. Yes, folks, Kyle O'Reilly is now all elite wrestling. This was something that many people have talked about. He took out Orange Cassidy, allowing for Adam Cole to win the match. But however, it looks like the other best friends were trying to hold on, but there was no match against all this force. But however, this is where it gets more interesting if you follow storyline wise. The Bucks don't know what to make of it. Basically, if you guys follow the history, the Young Bucks, along with, and had a bit of a rivalry with O'Reilly and Fish when they were known as Red Dragon. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing this again, but however, could this mean that we could see a somewhat version of Undisputed Era now being involved? I don't know. But I will talk about this on my podcast this coming Monday because I feel this is something we need to talk about. Now let's move on. As you know, last week, Hangman Adam Page and Daniel Bryan went to an hour match, which ended into a draw. Now, Hangman was trying to say some stuff, but however, Bryan Danielson believes that he is the rightful owner of the AEW World Title, but basically he believes that this was a bunch of shenanigans. So he proposed that he has judges involved, which he thinks that he'll have a much better advantage. So that is the one thing that Brian Danielson is trying to prove. But of course, Hangman accepted the challenge and the proposal, so we will see how this one's going to take place. This match will continue on in January 5th. Now, recently, as you know, what happened last week, MJF was attacked by both Sting and Darby Allin, but so basically, this is more of a payback. Warlow, on the other hand, he is now being asked where was he while he was supposed to be getting champagne. He didn't bother showing up. So that's like the question. But however, right now their main focus is on the match itself. But first things first, Warlow comes out in the match against the captain Sean Dean, which he power bombed them at least 5 times, was impressive. But once again, once the match was over on Wardlow's favor, Sean Spears attacks the Sean for no apparent reason. He's already been out. He doesn't need to be injured. But I do believe that Warlow is gonna snap one way or the other. So that could lead to that. Now, once again, AEW has to deal with the shenanigans by Dan Lambert about what pro wrestling is and all that. He believes that he doesn't care who's going to walk out the victor for the TNT title as long as somebody wins that title and brings it back to American Top Team. So that is something that they're expecting. Now, Britt Baker, as you know, has one weakness. As you know, this match is going to take place soon at, I think, Battle of the Belts, where Rio will be challenging her for the title, but she believes she cannot beat her because she has Jamie Hayter by her side. But anything could happen. We don't know what, but we'll see when that day comes. Now, this next part, I have to say, it was beautiful and amazing. They talked about Owen Hart, what an innovator he was, what a great person, a great wrestler that he was for a guy for his size. And not only that, he's much like Brody Lee. He loves his family, and I think that's what we should know about him. I know that some of the WWE loyalists are not happy that they're using Owen Hart, but that's the problem with WWE. They will never admit to what happened to Owen Hart at that one pay-per-view event. So, like I said, if you have a problem with it, have them sign a petition, have them to say, admit that you were wrong. But it's not gonna happen. Trust me, it's not. Now let's get to the semifinals match of the TBS Championship Tournament. Nyla Rose along with Vicky versus Ruby Soho. I have to say this match was unbelievably good. Uh, I think there was some moments where we saw that Vicky would do anything to ensure that Nyla won, but Nyla took advantage on the shoulder of Ruby Soho, but Ruby was able to eliminate Vicky with the Insiguri, but she put the final destination onto Ruby while to Nyla onto the turnbuckle, allowing herself to win and advance to the finals. But the real question remained, who will challenge her in the finals? Will it be Jade Cargill or Thunder Rosa? But to me, if it does become Thunder Rosa, we go back to the time of All Out when Ruby Soho made her in-ring debut in AEW. But we'll see what happens then. Now, it appears that the feud between Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida is far from over. She's declaring what happened to her last time, where Serena Deeb got hit by the exposed turnbuckle that not as Shida cheated, and she believes that this is not going to end. But she said once he beats her, that she's going to beg Tony Khan to leave her alone. So basically, this is more like she will not let this match stand no matter what. Now, our next match, this is much of a revenge. Malachi Black 2 weeks ago spit the mist on Julia Hart. Griff Garrison decided to step up and try to deal with him, but however, he was no match for him because Malachi Black used his own techniques and got him good on the knee and forced him to tap out. Brian Pillman Jr. tried everything in his power to help him, but he received the black mass on him, and it was over right from there. Now, this coming Friday in Rampage, Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party is set to face against Jungle Boy. So but Matt Hardy, along with the HFO, have some words to say to Jurassic Express and all this other stuff. And the same thing with Jurassic Express and Christian. So that kind of tells us we're going to see a very interesting feud taking place. Now it's main event time. We have uh, MJF and FTR taking on Sting, Darby Allin, and CM Punk. Punk uses like had a pretty good war paint, and same thing with Punk. I thought it was a good match. I have to say the much interesting moment is when MJF tried to run from CM Punk, but everything else, even great moments, I enjoyed it. But it was Darby Allin that gave the final coffin to Dax Harwood that gave Punk to pick up the victory on this one. So it was a pretty good show. I liked it. It was pretty good. Can't wait to see next week. But right now we cannot. Let's watch. We're ready to watch Rampage this coming Saturday. So just keep that in mind. But right now I think it's time to review RevPro. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to review this is a past event by none other than British promotion RevPro. This is the unfinished business. This took place right after the high stakes event where Ricky Knight Jr. lost the title to Will Ospreay, but however, he revealed his much devious plan. He recruited Aussie Open as the newest members of United Empire. So basically, now they're expanding. But there are more of revenge matches that took place here and some things that are coming up. But right now, let's also reveal that apparently the British J Cup was taking place sooner. Now, those who don't know what the British J Cup is, that is like similar to the J Cup that you will get a chance to challenge for the junior heavyweight title or the cruiserweight title, as they call it. But right now, let's go to the first match. We have the leader of the Legion, Gideon Gray, taking on one half of Destination Everywhere, Michael Oku. This match was mostly more like a brutal match, but however, Michael Oku is one of the best wrestlers we have seen so far, but he was able to pull up a victory towards him. But however, his opponent for the Cruiserweight title, Chris Ridgway, attacked and tried to soften himself up with the match, but luckily for Michael Oku, his tag team partner and friend Connor Mills appeared in order to save the day. Now, once again, we have the Legion in a tag match, Lucas Phillips and Screwface Ahmed taking on the Young Guns. Now, there were certain things that made sense about the Young Guns that no one knows. We all assumed that they would have joined the United Empire, but no, it was Aussie Open. And this is more like for the Young Guns to get revenge for what just transpired. But we'll hope. But this match proved how they are hungry to prove they need to get to the top and hopefully get a shot of the tag titles, which they feel they earned them, and that's exactly what they did. They earned it by beating Legion once and for all. Now, our next match is the British J Cup qualifying match. We have Connor Mills versus Callum Newman. I thought that was a fantastic match. As you know, Connor Mills have challenged for the Cruiserweight title once before, but this time he has to go to the top to get it. But he won by an amazing victory by taking out Newman, and it was amazing to see it. So he advances in to the inside the British J Cup. Next up, we were supposed to have Chris Ridgway of the Legion taking on Ricky Knight Jr., but Gideon preferred not to let this happen due to he wants him to focus on the cruiserweight title. Instead, he replaced him with Will Cruz for Ricky Knight. As you know, Ricky Knight wants to get his hands on Will Ospreay for what took place, but it didn't happen. But Ricky Knight did not waver. He did not give up, no matter what was thrown in face, and he was able to prevail in this match by winning. Next up is another qualified match of the British J Cup. We have Robbie X versus Martin Kirby, who made his in-ring return, which was great. But I have to say, Robbie X is one of the best wrestlers I've seen so far. So he advances into the British J Cup. Now our main event is tag team action. We got Yota Tsuji and Shota Una, former Young Lions, who they come across each other taking on Aussie Open. I thought it was a pretty interesting match. It was great. I thought it was amazing. But however, it was Aussie Open who won when they isolated each of the members, which is a great move. But however, they decided to give a little beatdown, and here comes Ricky Knight Jr. to give a helping hand, and the same thing with the Young Guns. So everything is out of control, and I can't wait to see what else is going to take place in RevPro. So I think that's pretty much it. I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I kept it a little shorter than I normally would, but it's okay. I had other things to do, but I got it done for all of you. So coming up, we got day 3 of New Japan Pro Wrestling Road to Tokyo Dome. We also possibly have MLW Fusion Alpha, NXT UK, and of course, we cannot forget Impact Wrestling. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.